More than 4 years, the automaker CEO seeming to break ranks with much of corporate America right now, delivering some harsh words about President Trump's tariff plans.
A 25% tariff on all cars that are not made in the United States. If they're made in the United States, there's absolutely no tariff.
What just happened in the heart of American industry is nothing short of historic. Ford, the icon of U.S. manufacturing, the company that helped build the American middle class, has slammed the brakes on production in the United States. Entire plants shut down. Thousands of workers sent home. And the man at the center of it all? President Donald Trump. But instead of outrage or concern, his reaction was silence, or worse, approval. This isn't just a headline. This is the unraveling of an industrial machine that powered generations of American families. Let's break down exactly what happened and why Trump's response is sparking fear, not confidence, across the Midwest. On May 17th, Ford Motor Company shocked the nation. They announced an immediate halt to production at some of their biggest plants, including the legendary Chicago assembly plant, where the Ford Explorer and Lincoln Aviator once rolled off the lines by the thousands. Michigan's Bronco and Ranger lines? Shut down too. The message to workers: go home. Wait for a call. We don't know when you'll be back. And what triggered this sudden collapse? Not a foreign invasion of cheap imports, not a labor strike, but tariffs, straight from Washington. President Trump's trade policy imposed a 25% tax on imported parts and vehicles.
And this is very modest. What we're going to be doing is a 25% tariff on all cars that are not made in the United States. If they're made in the United States, there's absolutely no tariff.
It was meant to punish foreign competitors, but instead, it hit American factories the hardest. Ford now faces a $1.5 billion earnings hit in 2025 alone. That's not a dip. That's a financial gut punch. And the layoffs began almost immediately. Ford wasn't the only one reeling. General Motors scrambled to shift production. Hundreds laid off. Chrysler's parent company, Stellantis, paused operations in Mexico and Canada. And in Indiana and Michigan, 900 workers were let go overnight. Auto dealerships raised prices just to survive. The Ford Maverick, Mustang Mach-E, and Bronco Sport, built in Mexico, shot up by $2,000 per vehicle to offset new tariffs. Meanwhile, Ford stopped exporting vehicles to China entirely. That's one of the biggest auto markets on the planet. Gone. And what did President Trump say? They should have brought production back a long time ago. No sympathy, no solutions, just a political soundbite. If you're finding this breakdown helpful, hit the like button so this video reaches more people who care about what's happening in America's economy. And if you want clear, honest updates like this without the noise, subscribe now. We dig deeper, so you're never left in the dark. Tariffs were supposed to bring back American jobs. Instead, they raised prices on everything: steel, electronics, car parts. Vehicles from Canada now face border duties. Batteries and chips from China carry tariffs as high as 30%. And the factories that can't afford those costs? They go dark. Ford executives are now cutting forecasts. Product launches are being reconsidered. And dealerships are running out of inventory. Prices jumped 2.5% in a single month, one of the biggest spikes in recent history. And what do consumers see? Higher sticker prices, fewer options, and shrinking discounts. For President Trump, this is America first in action. But for the auto worker in Toledo or Kokomo, it feels more like America forgotten. Communities that depend on these jobs, local diners, grocery stores, mechanics, are now on life support. In Michigan, mayors are begging for help. In Indiana, labor boards are issuing warnings. Wall Street is losing confidence. Auto stocks are down. Analysts are warning that if these tariffs hold, the industry could lose over 1 million sales in 2025 alone. Still, the message from Washington hasn't changed. Trump's administration says the pain is temporary, that companies will adapt. But on the ground, no one's waiting for a miracle. This isn't just about Ford. It's about the future of American manufacturing. For decades, automakers like Ford and GM built vast, integrated supply chains across North America. Cars were assembled in the US using parts from Canada, Mexico, and beyond, keeping costs low and production fast. Now, Those systems are collapsing. You can't just move everything back to the US overnight. Rebuilding supply chains takes years. It costs billions. And for companies already struggling under new tariffs, it might not even be possible. So decisions are being made out of desperation, not strategy. Pause this shipment. Cancel that order. Raise prices. Lay off staff. Hope it works. And just when you think it couldn't get worse, retaliation begins. China is already hitting back with tariffs on American cars. Exports are drying up. European and Korean automakers are seizing global market share while the US market gets more expensive by the day. American automakers are caught in a vice. Sell cars abroad and face tariffs. Sell them here and face rising costs. Either way, the squeeze is real. And Ford? It's not gone. Not yet. But for the first time in decades, it's reeling. And its workers, some with 20, 30, even 40 years on the line, are asking, was it worth it? This is bigger than Trump, bigger than Ford. This is the soul of American industry under pressure. From policies that promised prosperity, but delivered pain. For every job created in Indiana, another vanishes in Michigan. For every truck that rolls off a line in Fort Wayne, another sits unfinished in Mexico. And the people left behind, the workers, the families, the communities, they deserve answers. Because this isn't just economics, it's personal. And until Washington starts listening, not to CEOs, not to lobbyists, but to the men and women on the factory floor, the pain will keep spreading. So ask yourself, when a company like Ford falters, who's really winning? If this story moved you, give it a like, leave a comment, and subscribe for more deep dive reports on the stories shaping America's future. Thanks for watching.